Hi, my name is Paul Antonio. I'm a calligrapher and heraldic artist. I train as a calligrapher and heraldic artist. I'm from London and I have a studio which I operate out of in London, England. So I'm going to show you how our Gansai range works. So we have three aspects to the range. We have the Gansai Tambi, which is a high density, high saturation paint. The Gansai Starry, which is a metallic version, and then this was released last year, and then this year we released the Gansai Pearl. So we have a pigment, a metal, and then a pigment and a metal. Now what we found is if you want to create a dark iridescent blue, you would use the deep navy with the pearl cobalt. And if you want to create an iridescent green, then obviously you'd use the green, the May green with the green range. I mean, you don't really want to add the pink to the blue because then it changes the structure of the color. So our pigments are really super finely ground. They are more finely ground than any pigments in the West for a very specific reason. They are made for an Eastern market. And because they're made for an Eastern market, they use a different, the micron size is considerably smaller because of the type of paper used in the East. So consequently, this should be great. So consequently, the pigment saturation. So we'll do the Gansai Tambi first. The pigment saturation is really high, and it also means that it flows through different tools and leaves quite a lot of deposition on the surface. So what I normally do is I mix the color up in here and I pour it into a dish because I don't like my colors sitting underwater for too long. And I also don't like the pans looking dirty, which they tend to do. But on a really sort of practical note, if the pans get dirty, then chances are you're mixing colors, so the colors tend to get a little bit muddy. So I brush the color on. I'm using a Hunt 22B nib. So that's the Gansai Tambi. Obviously, you can mix the colors up. You can also blend the colors. They blend beautifully together. Next, we have the Gansai Starry, and with the Starry, we have a slightly darker. So I'm using the red gold. Again, this is a Hunt 22B nib. So that's a darker color. Next we have the Gansai Pearl, which is our newest range. Alright. And then we have something really amazing. Because the pigments work so well together, we can mix the starry with the tambi to get something very different to that range. And so by doing that, we created yesterday this color. So I used this red ochre with the red gold. And so you'll see that settle, saturate itself, and you could see the gold starting to show through, especially in the hairline. Now I'm going to look at the two types of brushes we use. We actually do 4 different types of brushes. And with our brushes, we have our art and graphic twin. So this is the more this is the older version. It's a spongy tip brush which allows quite a lot of pigment saturation. And we can write with this as well. You can flood an area of color. Notice I'm not pressing hard on the brush, so just be careful with it. And then we have the updated version, which is our art and graphic twin, which has a filamented brush tip. And again, with this we can write as well, but we can also use it to write in a more traditional way. So you might want to come around this side. So the different ways in which the tools can be used. And this is sort of the variety of tools that we have in the brushes. Obviously, they start changing by the time we look at different kinds of brushes. So this is my favorite. So this is the Feud 8. And the Feud 8 gives us a really beautiful line. And so we can produce really wonderful decoration. You can write with it, or you can write really small with it. And to prove that you can go back and do it at this size. You can still see that really beautiful hairline still pulling. So that's the Feud 8. So we have the Feud 8 and the Feud 85. Very similar brushes. We tend to use one with pigmented ink and one with dye-based ink. And then we have our clean color brushes. So one of the things that I try to get people to do is to understand that the brushes work differently. They all have different types of bristles. But more importantly, you have to remember that if you want a bigger stroke, you have to use a tool that is proportional to the size of the letter. So if you want a letter and the base of the brush where the bristles enter the ferrule, you don't want the brush to spread wider than that. If you spread it wider than that, you can damage the core of the brush, which means the brush will simply not work anymore. So clean color brushes come in different packs. The largest is 80, so these are 48. And you get a staggering array of colors. And they work really well together, they blend really well together. Thank you very much.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to give our video a thumbs up and subscribe to Scrap Time videos on YouTube to be the first to see all our videos from Creativation.